I'm Rebecca of Pocketful of Posies. Today's project I'm so excited for because it is my late Victorian, early Edwardian bicycling outfit. I've been planning this one for a while. I've had the fabrics for a while and I finally have been able to make it. It has lovely autumnal colors and I can't wait to show you. So without further ado, let's get to it. Here we go. I started this project with the vest. I'm using the Marie vest pattern from House of Brick Designs on Etsy. Hercules helped get the pattern taped together. I traced over the pattern lines for my measurements since they're hard to see if you don't print on a color printer. I started with a mock-up. I used some printed cotton, not the same weight as the wool I'm using for the vest, but it'll give me a decent idea of the fit. I tried it on with my corset and quickly discovered that the bust is way too big. It's definitely patterned for a much larger bust than mine. The back looks good. I don't know if I need to take in the princess seams a little bit. I'm using this goldenrod colored wool. It's pretty thick, but I fell in love with the color and it's super soft. I adjusted the princess seam on the front side piece to make the bust fit me better. I pinned and cut out my pattern. I began assembly by pinning the fronts to side fronts. Then I had to do a search for thread. I was afraid I wouldn't have any, but I found some golden tan colored thread that worked. I stay stitched the neckline on the fronts and back. To the machine to sew the front princess seams. I clipped the curves and I will iron the seams open. Next, I marked and reinforced the corner at the side back. I clipped to the stitch line, but not into the stitch line. Then I lined up and pinned the back to side back pieces. After sewing, I clipped the curves of the seam. My next step was pinning and sewing the back peplum to the side backs. I pleated the peplum to fit the bottom edge of the back. I experimented with the idea of lining the vest. And I realized that if I did, the lining would show at the bottom of the back peplum. So I'm trying to decide whether I want to fully line this or not. It will add an extra layer of bulk. Store. You can't see them. It will add an extra layer of bulk, but I don't know. I kind of like the idea of having it fully lined. We shall see. I sewed the peplum to the back of the vest and trimmed the seam allowance. My next step was pinning and sewing the side backs to the side fronts. Now to sew the shoulder seams. Thor needed love. I decided to bagline the vest with my adjusted mock-up. I left the arm size and back peplum open to turn out. Hercules was helpful, as always. I trimmed the seam allowances before turning it out. To finish the peplum, I turned the seam allowance on the lining and vest in towards each other and pinned it in place. After ironing, I took it to the machine and sewed along every edge, making sure the lining didn't show on the outside. I will finish the arm size the same way. Buttons are all that's left. I'm going to use these brown buttons. They're plastic, but they almost look like wood. And I thought that would be cute on the front. So, and I have enough of them. I hand sewed buttonholes while I was at work and sewed on the buttons. For the skirt, I'm using black snail patterns number 0714, the bicycle skirt pattern. I have this lovely cranberry colored wool for this skirt. It's kind of a summer weight, so it's not super heavy. It's got a very nice swish. Okay, so I am cutting out, I have cut out my skirt, and I realize that the width of the fabric that I had was not quite what I needed. So I got all of the pieces cut out, but I do not have enough left for the hem facings. Now, it's this kind of cranberry colored wool. I'm gonna see, I mean, I have some scraps left, but I don't think it's going to be enough. This is the biggest piece that I have left. I'm gonna see. But if I don't have enough, if I can't make it work, what I'm wondering is what I should use for hem facing. I have some scraps of this silk dupioni, and they don't look bad together, but they're definitely not the same color. And then I also have this cotton. Where's the end of it? I've got a lot of this. I've got like 10 yards of this. This cotton jacquard, which is heavier, and it's not the same color, but it would give a sturdier hem facing. And since I have more of this, maybe that's what I should do. This wool that I'm using is a lightweight. It's more of a summer weight wool, because let's be honest, I live in Louisiana. I'm never going to need a heavy wool skirt. I'm never going to get to wear this vest as it is. It's so heavy. Maybe if I go to colder climes. But yeah, I'm trying to decide what to use for the hem facing. I'm leaning towards this, although since the silk is lighter, that might go with the wool better. But I don't know. Color wise, I don't know which would be less noticeable, I guess. Because the silk is shiny. So maybe I should go with the cotton. It's like a drapery or upholstery fabric. That might be the way to go, because that won't be as noticeable underneath. So yeah, off we go. I began the skirt by preparing the appliques. I marked the seam allowance, folded and ironed it to the underside of the appliques. My next step was pinning and sewing the appliques to the front of the skirt. They will be added to the back of the skirt as well. Then I turned and sewed the placket extensions on the front and side front edges. Pocket time! This skirt has a pocket in the right front side seam. Heads up, the pattern instructions say right side and the pattern pieces say left. So do what you want, I guess. And that may have been fixed since I bought the pattern, because I've had this pattern for a while. Next, I pinned and sewed the back seam. After sewing on the back appliques, I arranged the pleats at the center back. I waited to pin the side back pleats until I checked the waistband. I knew I wouldn't have quite enough material to do 2 pleats in the side back. I started the waistband by pinning the outer and inner back waistbands. I'm using cotton jacquard for the inner waistband. I sewed the top edge and trimmed the seam allowance. I repeated those steps with the front waistband. I pinned the outer waistband to the front of the skirt, right sides together. After sewing, I turned the waistband to the inside and sewed it down with a whip stitch. I repeated those steps with the back waistband and figured out the side back pleat as well. Hercules and Thor helped. Now onto the hem facings. I pinned the back facings to the side facings. I pinned and sewed the facings to the bottom edge of the back and sides. I turned the hem facing to the inside and pinned it in place. My next step was to attach the sides to the front. I also pinned and sewed the pocket pieces together. The left side skirt is closed with a button. I sewed a buttonhole by hand. I had trouble with the thread knotting up, so I just did the one buttonhole at the waist. I closed the rest of the opening with snaps and added decorative buttons down the left and right sides. Finally, I used a hem stitch to finish the hem facing. Then it was done. I am so happy to finally get to wear this outfit. I did add some padding in my corset to help fill out the bust since I didn't take quite enough out, but padding is period. I can also bike in this skirt. This project was so much fun. Thanks to Black Snail Patterns for sponsoring. Use the link below to get 15% off any digital pattern or the promo code Pocketful of Posies. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't, and if you'd like to be notified whenever I upload, you can hit that little bell icon. If you'd like to support the channel further, I do have a Ko-fi account, and that is linked down below. Please stay tuned. In 2 weeks, I will be back with my Halloween project, and it is in honor of the Phantom of the Opera's 35th anniversary. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you on our next sewing adventure. Bye! Please stay tuned. In 2 weeks, I will be back with my Halloween project. Thor's trying to get in.